So the next place that I'm going to recommend is South Africa. So South Africa is, again, like I said, I will always say Brazil, South Africa, and Mexico, at least over the last 5 years, as my favourite places I've ever been. So Cape Town, as with Rio de Janeiro, I often quote as my favourite city on the planet. So we were there when the Australian dollar was really good. So the Australian dollar was at its highest point. So it was about $1.20 USD. So that helps. I mean, it doesn't really, make too much of a difference. But it was really nice because we were able to, our money would go far. But Cape Town itself, so we rolled into Cape Town and we were like, all right, cool, let's get some surf. So surf-wise, Cape Town has many different areas with many different swell directions and many different winds. So you can normally surf any day of the year in Cape Town somewhere. And we arrived in Cape Town and we're like, right, let's go for a surf. So me and Causa, this is my mate who I was traveling with, me and Causa decided, all right, well, where should we go? So I had a surfboard with me. Corey needed a hire one. So although he surfed, he just wasn't traveling with his because he'd been living in the UK. So anyway, we go to a surf store in the middle of Cape Town in Long Street. So like basically not the central business district, but like the hustle and bustle. We go up into a surf store and they're like, oh yeah, wind and swell today. You should get waves, but maybe check out Muizenberg. And we're like, Muizenberg, okay, we can do that. So we got a car. So we drive down to Muizenberg. We get to Muizenberg and we look up and we're like, oh yeah, it looks like there's some waves. To be honest, the surf wasn't that good, but we would have paddled out in anything at that stage because we just landed in South Africa and we wanted to have a surf. So we get down the beach. They'd also told us that on the beach, there was another surf store that would hire them boards. Would hire us boards. They hire boards, would hire us boards, rent us boards so that Corey could go for a surf or whatever. So we get down the beach and we look up and we see a black flag. And I was like, Causa? He's like, yeah. I said, black flag doesn't normally mean have a good surf, boys. He goes, yeah, fuck. So we walk into this surf store and we're like, hey guys, how's it going? We just want to go for a surf. We saw there's a black flag up there. The guy goes, yeah lads, you don't want to do that. You can't do it. And we're like, well, what's a black flag? He goes, well, I'll tell you the gradings if you like. He goes, blue, something like this anyway, so don't quote me. He goes, blue is good visibility, no recent shark sighting. Amber is poor visibility, no recent shark sighting. Red is poor visibility, recent shark sighting. And black is poor visibility, recent shark attack. And we were like, fuck, what happened? The guy goes, there was a European dude who'd been living down the road, and he decided to go for his morning swim. Everyone said, bad visibility, recent shark sighting, don't go out there, don't go out there, don't go out there. He said, I've been swimming here for 20 years. Every morning I go for my morning swim. I'll be right, don't be silly. He went out and got his legs eaten off. See you later. Don't think he died, but I don't really know much about it. So anyway, but Cape Town's pumping. It's such a sick city. So there's surf all year round. The bars and coffee and food and restaurant culture is as strong as anywhere I've seen on the planet and really good quality. The sport and live music. We saw Kings of Leon there. We saw Australia do a touring cricket-wise. We watched a rugby game. Newlands Stadium in Cape Town is one of the best sporting stadiums on the face of the earth. It's just got everything you could want. But again, very much like Rio de Janeiro, it is shrouded in a lot of poverty. You know, there'll be one side of the street will be rich and famous and wealthy, whatever, Cape Townians, KPTers, and then on the other side of the street will be pure like poverty. So it is crazy. Again, like Brazil and like Rio, it's the backdrop of Cape Town is it's basically shadowed by Table Mountain, and obviously Rio is Sugarloaf Mountain, and it's just the best backdrop for a city. It's fucking incredible. So, so South Africa's really good. We actually went from Cape Town to Jeffreys Bay. So Jeffreys Bay is world-class surf. So we hired a car and drove what they call the garden route. So If you're Australian, it's like the Great Ocean Road. If you're American, it's like Route 66 or whatever other great highway and road and drive there is in America, and so forth. So really, really pretty. We did the world's biggest bungee jump along the way, 263 metres of free fall, or 263 metres, I should say, 11 seconds of free fall. That was fucked. Not actually fun. It's one of those things where, you know how you look back on things and you go, oh, that was really good after the fact? Not the case. Not the case. Wouldn't do it again. Wouldn't recommend it. It was just so scary. It was hectic. So, but then you get up to Jeffreys Bay, and Jeffreys Bay is right hand. It's a right-hander upon right-hander upon right-hander. It's all right-hand surf breaks, but they're just absolutely world-class. Absolutely world-class. We stayed at a hostel there and just had a great time, met some amazing people. And the town itself is just really, well, it's not super pretty. I mean, it's very coastal, and the coast is amazing. The town itself is like a bit meh, but the waves are awesome, and there's always great, good amount of stuff to do in Jeffreys Bay because it's just such a travelling destination because of the surf. Speaking of sharks, we actually we'd been getting up at 5 a.m. to go and surf to beat the crowds, and we woke up at 5 a.m. and we get down. We're probably down the beach by like 5:30 because it's a bit of a drive. And as we're about to paddle out, we're in our wetsuits and stuff, there's a guy that's paddling in, and he's just walking in up the sand. And he's talking to another guy, and you see him like throwing his arms out, showing like length, the length. His mannerisms are showing like, this is the length of whatever. This is this big. So anyway, we get down there, we're like, hey mate, what's going on? What are you doing? What are you talking about? He goes, lads, don't go out there. There was a shark out there. And I said to him, silly me, I said, hey mate, are you sure it was a shark? He goes, what do you mean? I said, there was dolphins out here yesterday. You sure it wasn't a dolphin? The dude looks at me straight in the eyes and goes, I've lived in Cape Town for 20 years, mate. Fuck Cape Town. I've lived in Cape Town for... I've done it again. I was looking at my phone. I've lived in Jeffreys Bay for 20 years, mate. I know what a fucking shark is. And I was like, oh, shit, sorry. Anyway, so this dude comes in, goes up to the car park, just goes, leaves, see you later. So me and Corey are sitting in our wetsuits with our boards on the beach, and we're like, fuck, spewing. So we just kind of kick around there. It's a nice day, take our wetsuits off, whatever. And people are coming down to go surfing. Every like 5 minutes, there's a different person walking down the beach. And we thought we'd do the right thing. We had nothing else to do. So we just sat on the beach and we would tell people, hey guys, probably not a good time to surf because there's a shark out there. We saw a shark sighting like half an hour ago. After about an hour, just over, this dude who saw the shark, the dude who was paddling in, he comes walking down the boardwalk with his board under his arm and his wetsuit on. And we're like, hey man, what are you doing? And he goes, lads, the shark's going to be fucking miles away by now. I'm getting out there. We were like, okay, psycho. Anyway, so sure enough, he paddles out, and then, a few more people paddle out. We're trying to stop people. We're like, hey, that dude fucking saw a shark, and then he's out there. He's an idiot. Anyway, so more and more people paddle out, and at this stage now, there's about 12 or 15 locals out. The waves are pumping, and me and Corey are sitting on the beach. Bitch. I was thinking bitch. Bitches sitting on the beach, like bitches. We're sitting on the beach. So I said to Corey, I'm like, dude, we're going to have to paddle out. We can't just sit here like this. He goes, oh, all right. So we paddle out and we stayed about 20 metres inside these guys the whole surf. But we were just petrified. Every time you touch the water in Cape Town, I've done it again. Every time you touch the water in South Africa in general, you're thinking this is the last surf we'll ever have. It's actually so outrageous. It's so outrageous. It's out of control. But the trip itself, South Africa was fucking amazing. We swam with sharks, padded lions. This is in like a lion, walked with lions, padded lions in a lion re-indigenization center. So it's not like in Thailand when you go and, play with sedated tigers. These are wildly bred lions that they have in a certain portion of a national park where the humans will feed them from time to time, and they're like friendly with the humans. They raise them to 2 years of age, and then they let them free so they can repopulate, basically. It's really great, in fact. So we did that. We went on safari, but we didn't see any lions. That was fucked. And yeah, it was really, really, really awesome. So I had another funny story I was going to tell. 2 of them, actually. One when I thought I was going to die, and one funny thing Corey did. But if we're really being realistic about this, what's the time? It's been 46 minutes. I might make this a 2-parter, potentially.